Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is Saturday morning, a somewhat different Saturday morning, because today is Western Cape racing. So we've got racing down at Kenilworth, which commences, well, it's on the winter course. And by the way, it's a hell of a great day's racing. So you've got the Langerman, the JWS Langerman, 250,000. That's a grade 3. You've got another grade 3 in form of Pocket Power Stakes, and then the River Jatez Stakes. These are the final legs of the Winter Triple Series in Cape Town. So excellent racing. On top of that, the Olympic Jewel Stakes, Ladies Mile, Iridescent Stakes. So some really nice racing on that winter course in Cape Town today. Let's get straight into it, shall we? And share the screen. This time next week, of course, it'll be the Hollywood Bets Durban July. So really looking forward to that. Right, let's share the screen and get on to our betting and analysis of today. Just very quickly, I'm showing you this page first of all because there's two very important scratchings in race 3, which is the JWS Langerman, and that now is a field of just 8, and two very important scratchings. Number 2, Charles Dickens, is out. He's off his feed. And number 9, We're Jamming, is out. And you could argue that those were two of the main principles in the race. So that race has become somewhat open now with the scratching of Charles Dickens and We're Jamming. Just the other ones, race 1, number 2 is out, and race 9, number 11, Ravagers of War, is not eating up. So he's also out. In the Langerman, Grant van Niekerk now picks up the ride on number 3, Light Speed. A couple of other changes. Race 1, number 1, Castle Time, earmuffs on. Race 8, number 8, Transact, is a blinker strike, and so too is Lucy the Pink in race 9. That's number 10. Okay, let's get on to the betting and go through our race-by-race analysis. I have spent quite a bit of time chatting to the Ghost Rider last night, and at a time where both of us didn't have load shedding, because there's been load shedding left, right, and centre. I got another double dose. Well, I actually got a triple dose today, but I've started off with load shedding already on the Saturday morning. So let's get into that first race and have a look at the betting. The Ghost Rider selections in this race, I'll get to his thought process in a moment. He likes 5 and 6 in that order, and that would seem to suggest that the way they've priced up is about right. Number 5, Berenberg, opened up 13 to 10, now shortened into 12 to 10. He's a son of Erupt, out of a Warm White Night mare, and bred by Normandy Stud. They do know how to breed a good horse. Richard Ferree rides after a average kind of debut. He's improved to run 3rd and 3rd, so he certainly is probably the horse to beat here. But I'm with the Ghost Rider, and I think number 6, Bullet, is going to make a race of it. He's the son of Quarari. The records, the stats for Quarari for 2-year-olds this season is pretty special. This is trained by Lucinda Woodruff. It's owned by the Lyles, and they had a winner, not Cooper, of course, Lyles in Cape Town, Kirsty and Dad. And they had a winner. I think it's also Kirsty's brother that actually is involved as well here. So maybe lightning will strike twice. They had Exceeder win for them, which we fancied last week. And I think this horse will run a nice race. He might just need another run under the belt, but I think he'll be fairly competitive in this race. So I'm along for the same ride that the Ghost Rider is here, and 5 and 6 are the two principals in the race. Number 1, Castle Time, is having his 4th run since gelding. He hasn't got the worst form. He is a 3-year-old, so he's older than Berenberg and Bullet. He might be able to get into the action as far as the trifecta is concerned. So that opening race, 5 obviously has to be respected, but I do think number 6, Bullet, can improve and make a race of it. Let's move on to race 2, shall we now, and have a look at the second race, which is going to be the first leg of the bipod. There are 9 races today, so the PA will start with race 3, but the bipod will start with race 2. Number 1, Bonica, won pretty well last time, and well, at the penultimate start, when against Fillies and Mares Older Company last time, dropped back to that 6 furlongs, or back in that 6 furlong contest. Was not disgraced in carrying 58 kilograms and finishing 3rd. Steps up to 1,500 here. And on a pedigree point of view, being a daughter of Jackson, she'll probably relish that. So I'm not altogether surprised she's been supported from 6 to 1 into 5 to 1. She's not my first choice, but I wouldn't die arguing with you if you were going to throw it into the bipod. Number 2, Call Me Freeze, improved nicely to win 3rd time at the races. She's bred again by Oscar Folkeson team at the Normandy Stud. She doesn't benefit from a good draw, unfortunately. She's drawn 9. 3, Camille Claudel. Well, this horse has always had a big reputation. She finally delivered on shedding a maiden certificate last time. Aldo and Candice Bass Robinson in excellent form. They're formed together in this horse, second, first. So she hasn't missed the bipod placings, and she could very well hit the board again here. But I'm going to give number 4, Ciao Bella, another chance. She's a daughter of Gimme the Green Light. Bella was a superstar. This pedigree, this Vastfontein pedigree is star-studded. And I'm prepared to ignore that last run for whatever reason. She was slow into stride. She was never traveling as well as she did on debut, where she was super impressive. But she's drawn 3, and the mother, Bella, was a daughter of Dynasty. So she certainly, from a pedigree point of view, this 1500 should be within her compass. And for me, she is going to be the horse to get a second chance. So number 4, Ciao Bella, to find her original form that she showed on debut. 5, Fun Zone, is a daughter of Rafif out of An Ideal World mare, so I don't think there's a problem with the 1500 there. Smuggled Kamalo rides, but no real support for her in the betting market. Lady Mystico is of interest. She's a master of my fate out of a Dynasty mare, so the step up to the extra 100 here, having finished 3rd to Spywing last time, has got to be in her favour, and she's drifted out to 12 to 1, but I certainly wouldn't be leaving her out of calculations, particularly as she's drawn nicely at 2. That's number 6, Lady Mystico, for the Crawford Ricks combination. But to show how trappy it is, on we go with horses that have all got chances. Number 7, Miss Marguerite, Richard Free rides from pole position 1, and she actually finished in front of Ciao Bella last time and just behind number 1, Benica, so she can't be without hope. Number 8, Paculpa, is the sister to Pomp and Power, and as a result, must have a chance just on pedigree, but she hasn't got the best of draw. She's drawn 8 out of a field of 9, so she's got the second worst draw, but she was running on behind Spywing when Spywing won last time, so wherever Spywing is, Paculpa will either be just behind her, on top of her, or in front of her, and I think you've got to factor that in, and obviously, therefore, number 9, Spywing, has to have a mention. So I think this Iridescent Stakes is pretty darn competitive, to be honest. It's a question of who will improve the most, stepping up over the trip of 1500. But to sum up again, I am going to give number 4, Ciao Bella, another chance. That first victory was super impressive, and I'm just suggesting that that second run of her career will not be a good and accurate reflection of what she's capable of. So for me, number 4, Ciao Bella, from a good draw. The Ghost Rider likes number 9, Spywing, by the way. He does respect my filly, number 4, Ciao Bella, but he was all over number 9, Spywing. He felt that that was an excellent victory last time, and I wouldn't put you off putting that in the bipod either. But beyond Ciao Bella and the Spywing, which is the Ghost Rider selection, there isn't too much that doesn't have a chance in this race. So step warily here. I think it's one of the more competitive races on the program. For place accumulator punters, of course, they don't have to worry because that's not in the PA. The PA will start with this race, race 3. And I do think from here onwards, it gets fairly straightforward. Charles Dickens is scratched. So this betting I'm showing you now is going to change fundamentally, not only because Charles Dickens is scratched from the Lungerman, but so too is number 9, We're Jamming. And they were the 2 fancies in the race. If you take number 6, Port Louis, and number 1, At My Command, out of the loop, they would have been the first and second favourites. So it leaves us with a Lungerman that really Brett Crawford has the key to. So I did say We're Jamming is scratched, right? I might have, my brain's telling me that I might have said number 8 to the Moon and Back is scratched, but of course it's number 9, We're Jamming. So apologies if I did say that. So just to confirm, number 2, Charles Dickens, number 9, We're Jamming, out. So that leaves us with basically Brett Crawford against number 8, To the Moon and Back. And I start with To the Moon and Back because the Ghost Rider like this. This was the improver for him in the race. And of course, To the Moon and Back will race in the Greg Bort Silks. Richard Faree rides. Silent War came out and franked that form last time, so he has to be respected. The two scratchings are both horses that were drawn wide. So To the Moon and Back remains on a draw of 7, which is probably not ideal. Some of his adversaries here are a bit better drawn. Number 1, At My Command, is drawn on his inside at 5 with a slightly better draw. So the two Crawford runners, of the two, number 1, At My Command, of course, Keegan DeMelo has to ride because he is the stable rider for Kaya Stables. So I'm not so sure that you can read into the fact that Louis Nkotwa is riding number 6, Port Louis. Having said that, he's a lovely horse. He's taken his time, but he's now come to full fitness and was super impressive in winning at his penultimate start. And then last time was just literally a neck behind At My Command. They both carried 60 that day. They both carried 60 today. And there's going to be little to choose between number 1, At My Command, and number 6, Port Louis. Now, even before the scratching, there was significant support for number 3, Light Speed. Grant van Niekerk is the missing rider. So Grant van Niekerk announced as the rider here, and he benefits from a 1 draw. He's likely to jump and go and get himself a handy position. He's a beautifully bred horse. He's a son of Give Me the Green Light out of Fortwood mare. And frankly, he could continue on his upward ways. Now, this was the horse. It's quite interesting. If you watch my Cape Town previews regularly, when he won, I had a criticism about some of the riding in the race, not for Grant, because he won the race. He burst through late one going away. One of those horses was Exceeder. And I pointed out that Exceeder was better than that performance. And that's why I liked him last time. He came out and franked that form and won and shed his own maiden certificate. Of course, Exceeder is a 4-year-old. This Light Speed is a 2-year-old. But I have to say that when he won, he was very impressive. He put his field to the sword, quickened away nicely. So I'm not surprised at all that there is money for number 3, Light Speed. He looks to have bags and bags of talent. So initially, at first glance, you might have thought that the race is set up for the Crawford team. Number 1, At My Command, and number 6, Port Louis. And they certainly will be on the premises. But I am expanding my thought process to include number 3, Light Speed, and also the other Snaith runner, number 8, To the Moon and Back. So that's my take on that race. If you're asking me for a pecking order, I'm going to go 3, Light Speed, 1, At My Command, 6, Port Louis, and 8, To the Moon and Back. Those are my 4 in that order. The Ghost Rider, and I discussed before, Charles Dickens was scratched, so he will now elevate To the Moon and Back as his first selection. On to race 4 we go. Right, let me try and pick up the pace here as we move on to another one of these supporting features today. There are some good races on the program. This 4th race, if I can get to the right page, is the Ladies' Mile. It's a listed event over 1,600 meters. Rain in Newmarket is 22 to 10. I think that's not the worst value I've ever seen. I thought he might be a bit cheap, might be a bit shorter. She's probably that price because number 2, Veronica Mars, and her have some history. And she's a year older is Veronica Mars. She's got Aldo riding and she's drawn 2. But I remain in the camp of number 1, Rain in Newmarket here. There is, though, one horse that I wanted to talk about, and that's actually the 12 to 1 shot, number 3, So Flawless. She hasn't run for 144 days. That is the only negative. But Andre Nel generally brings his horses to the races fit. And if she is fit, I think she could be a surprise package. She's run close up to the likes of Silva Maria, Hootsprait, Marina in recent times, Pink Tourmaline, who won again the other day. And the last run before her break, which was in February, was behind Black Silver. But on a couple of form lines, collateral form lines, she comes in quite well. So number 3, So Flawless, if she's ready to give her her best, could be a surprise package. But for me, number 1, Rain in Newmarket, is the horse to beat. Interesting, I've been talking about So Flawless. Andre Nel actually sends out number 8, Fusillade as well, and Grant van Niekerk rides that. So you could perhaps argue that that's going to be the horse to be with as far as the Nel yard are concerned. So I have to respect that. If I like number 3, So Flawless, I have to respect number 8, Fusillade, in that race. Okay, let's pause quickly because I've been invaded by my kids. Right, we're back on with some swift discipline. Let's move on to, so that sums up that race. Duplicity is the only other one I would mention because it's, of course, a sister to Clouds Unfold, who did the best of the best at the top level. So you have to respect the pedigree there. But for me, Rain in Newmarket, for the PA point of view, I'll probably be taking my chances of bankering Rain in Newmarket there at reasonably good odds of 22 to 10. On we go to a sprint race. I spoke earlier on about the Crawford Yard, that they might have the Lungerman, or certainly a big say in the Lungerman. They've certainly got a massive say in this Olympic Dual Stakes, and I think that here they will dominate. The Ghost Rider, by the way, likes 4 and 6 in this race, which are both 2 of the 3 Crawford runners. I like them in the other order. I like 4 from 1. He likes 4 from 6, but we're both on the Brett Crawford train here with number 4. I've got to sing What's New, Pussycat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the favorite here. Brett Crawford's got the same families here because the Kisvetters have got the What's New, Pussycat offspring. 4 Whoa, whoa, whoa is the younger sister to number 1, Kitty Cat Chat. I don't think that was Kitty Cat Chat's run last time. I think she'll be bouncing back to something of her best here. But she does have to ship 4 kilograms to 4 Whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's why it remains my first choice. So 4 from 1 for me. I've mentioned that the Ghost Rider says 4 from 6. Touch of support for numbers 2, 7, and 8 here. 2 Major Attraction is of interest to me. Now, this is a race where she was 3rd in the Scepter Stakes last year. This year she was 3rd in the Scepter Stakes by Captain's Ransom. No, that was the Mallorca, wasn't it? It was in the Scepter Stakes where she ran 3rd to Gimme Dat. In the same race, there was another horse that ran there. Was it Marmalisa? Might well have been. But I did find some collateral form that gave Major Attraction a bit of a sneak for the minor money. Can't find where that other Scepter Stakes form is, but worth mentioning. The other 2 at the bottom, well, number 7, Marmalisa, actually on some lines of form looks quite well in here. So she could be an upset potential. 5th last year off 1.5 kilograms is what I wrote in this race. So she ran 5th by Capitana in the Olympic Dual Stakes last year to number 7, Marmalisa. And as a result, with 1.5 kilograms less on her back, she could work her way into the trifectas and quartets. The other horse that's been tickled up, number 8, Going Up, is a lovely pedigree, daughter of Give Me the Green Light out of the Gold Keeper mare. And since her maiden, which was on debut, she's been there or thereabouts, probably not quite producing her best form of late. Right, so for me, I'm taking my chances here with the Crawford Yard, 4, 1, and 2. 4, 1, and 2. You heard that the Ghost Rider likes the 6 Walk of Fame. Let's move on to race 6 now. This is going to be the first of our final legs of the Triple Crown Series, the Winter Series in Cape Town. We start with the fillies running in the World Sports Betting River Jatez Stakes listed. Now we're stepping over to 2,400. As with all of the final legs of Triple Crowns, it's really a question, before you even look at anything else, is pedigrees and whether they will stay the trip, because you don't win races if you don't stay. Now, this is a big step up to 2,400. So Maria Corral, who won the second leg, goes now the extra 600 meters, as do all of them. I don't think too many fillies. Maybe there's just one. Did double check? I think the 8 has tried the 2,400 before and actually stayed on quite nicely. That's number 6, double check. So she certainly stays and has the blinkers on. But the rest of them are going into uncharted territory. The Ghost Riders 2 selections here are 4 from, well, those are mine actually, but there's the same horse. Number 4, Fleeting, is the Ghost Riders' first choice, and pretty much a strong one. He likes 4 to beat 2, Young Love, who he reckons is the improver in the race. I would tend to agree with him, but I wouldn't be quite as bullish about number 4, Fleeting. I think there are others in the race. 5, Pouet Moi, does interest me. She's a master of my fate. She's steps up to this 2,400 meters, and I think she'll stay and she'll be on the premises. So she's not without a chance. And then I did mention earlier on that number 6, Double Check, has blinkers and Keegan DeMelo on and has been the trip. and ran second to The Future is Bright, who I think is a colt. So she ran against Colts that day. The Future is Bright, I think, runs in the next race, which is the last leg of the male, the Colts Triple Crown Winter Series. So that would be my roughie in the race, number 6, double check, because I know that she does stay. So to sum up in this race, 4 Fleeting is our first choice, but she's been easing in the betting market. There's been money for the Ghost Riders, Shrewdy, number 2, Young Love, who is a twice over Grant Van Niekerk ride. So you've got to respect that. So 4, 2, and 6 would probably be our combined combination there, although you have to respect number 5, Quadric Moore, and number 1, Maria Corral. Let's move on to race 7. This is the Colts equivalent, the last leg of the Cape Winter Series. And we know that Gem King has dominated that so far. I'm on the camp of Winchester Mansion today. And it's only if it was racing again over a mile or 1,800, then I'd be on Gem King. But the step up to 2,400, as I just said, changes the playing field and requires a different argument. And for me, number 2, Winchester Mansion, out of a Spectrum mare, I think will relish the step up. Louis Nkotwa rides again. Greg Sheen's ridden him on his last 3 occasions, but Louis back on board. He's the one that was the jockey when he won. Interesting, though, that I would be tipping a 1-time winner against a 5-time winner at just about level weights, because Winchester Mansion only gets the kilogram from Gem King. So Gem King has won 5, and it's pretty obvious that he's going to be a huge runner. But number 2, Winchester Mansion, was closing in hand over fist behind him over 1,800. And with the step up of the extra 600 meters, I'm going to take my chances. Rather take the 5-2 for me about Winchester Mansion than the 11-10, number 1, Gem King. Interesting that there's a touch of support for number 5, The Future is Bright. I mentioned with the filly in the earlier race that she had gone 2,400, and it was that race where The Future is Bright beat Double Check, which proves to me that he does get the trip for John Rycroft, who's been in the game for some time, not with these silks, but it's good to have John back, and he looks like he's got a nice horse here, and this horse certainly stays, and as a result, you can't leave him out of the equation. Just want to sum up the Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider was on 1, Gem King, so he did like 1. Said, mind you, he said, Gem King will win if he stays. I'm saying that I think Winchester Mansion might stay better. But the Ghost Rider went 1, 2, and 5, which is pretty similar to the way I'm going. I'm just going 2, 1, and 5. Okay, let's move on to the 8th race and have a look at this. They backed my horse. That's not my money. I wish it was, but it's not. I like Sergey in this race, and I see there's been money for him. Sergey in the silks of our good friends Suzette and Barcy Fulyun. That's not why I like him, obviously. I like him on 4. And also, I like him because he's now, well, if you have a look at his course and distance trip, he's run 3 times over this Kenilworth 6 furlongs for 2 wins and a second. Simango Khumalo takes over. He's drawn okay at 6. Ideally, you probably like him drawn a fraction, lower, but up the straight, not going to make that much of a difference. Let me come back to the betting, though. Well, I better stay with the betting because Sergio has been back. So I really liked him. He opened up at 6-1. I wish I had been on the 6-1. He's now 7-2. That story and what I told you tells exactly why I like him. He's the son of Vercingetorix, Brett Crawford yard in sparkling form. And I thought, sure, 6-1. I wish I'd seen that last night. World's Your Oyster is the other one that's been backed. Now, he's been, I think, off his best form in recent times. He's much better than his last couple of runs. I like the booking of Greg Sheen again. Greg's got a great relationship with him. He's had 6 rides on him. He's won 50% of those with 3 victories. He also likes this course and distance, does number 4, World's Your Oyster, which is why I'm talking about him behind Sergey, who has won twice over the course and distance. World's Your Oyster has won 5 times over this track and trip. So again, at 10-1, he was excellent value. So interesting that there's been money for my 2, in inverted commas, roughies in the race. Let's go back to the form runners. Well, number 1, Resonator's done nothing wrong. He's also owned by our good friends Fullard and Drew. They own, along with Campbell, number 4, World's Your Oyster. But Resonator's winning his races really well. He's a little bit like Tchaikovsky, who is winning and getting better all the time. He won the last race the last time he raced at Kenilworth, and he quickened up from virtually last to be super impressive under Aldo. There was shades of that performance, the Tchaikovsky performance in Resonate's victory last time. He was switched off, came from just off the pace, but swept on by and won nicely. Speed Machine, he re-engages here, and theoretically, he should get beaten by Speed Machine. He's 2 kilograms worse off, and he only beaten by 0.4. But a little bit in the same category as Tchaikovsky, there might be more improvement to come. And I wouldn't be surprised if Resonate confirmed and franked that Speed Machine form. Equally, though, Speed Machine, who hasn't won for some time. When last did he win? 319 days ago. You know, it's a surprise in that respect that he hasn't won since then. But he is reasonably well in, certainly on the Resonate run last time. The Ghost Rider, by the way, liked Resonate. He went 1, 5, and 2. He's gone 1, 5, and 2. You gather that that will not be my selection, 1, 5, and 2. This is probably the one race that I disagree with the Ghost Rider, and he disagrees with me. He's gone 1, 5, and 2. I'm looking for a bit of a result. I do respect number 5, Double Charge. You've got to. He is the third of the triplet that has stunning course and distance form. He's got Grant van Niekerk back on board. Grant's won 5 times on him, and he's finished second 5 times. But as far as the distance, course and distance form is concerned, Double Charge has run over this Kenilworth 1200 11 times for 3 wins and 5 seconds. So he's certainly a bipod kind of horse with that record over this track and trip. So he's got to have a say. But for me, the value, well, I'm not so sure there's value anymore, is number 6, Sergey. So for my bipod, I would be going, I'll take my chances actually a little bit with the horses slightly lower in the weights. My bipod numbers are 4, 5, and 6. If you're going to play a bipod, I would go 4, 5, and 6 here. Clearly, the Ghost Rider would throw in 1 and 2. Nice race, quality race, some good horses. You've heard my take on it. Let's move on to, I can hear people shouting, but Neil, you tipped Rocking Ringo last time. You said you had a gut feel and it arrived, and we're back to 16-1. What's happened? Well, I think he's back to 6 furlongs. What's this from there? Nah, not for me today. I mean, lovely horse, Rocking Ringo. He's won 10 times, and I backed him again last time, but this is a different kettle of fish. So I'm not going for Rocking Ringo today, just in case anybody asks. Right, let's move on to race 9. And this is a weak field. I thought this was a weak field. Let me start with I've actually got written here. No disrespect to those who own horses in the race. There might be 1 or 2 to come out of it and improve. But I wrote here, won't take much winning, moderate field. Ghost Rider, let me start with him. He likes 2 and 9. He likes 2 Wayward Girl. She's got to have a chance. She's drawn 3 Père Cornet Alpha runs. The penultimate run, she was drawn 12 out of 12, so I would ignore that. The time before that, she was drawn 7 out of 7. So 2 of her last 3 runs, she's had the worst of the draw. Much better drawn here. She's a Rafif, and she probably will be on the premises in the open race. So I can't put him off that. His second choice was number 9, Love is a Rose. He was a little bit worried about the yards form. He might have a point there, but this is a daughter of Master of My Fate. In fact, I think the sister ran on whenever we had racing in Cape Town Tuesday, I think it was. It's with the Bass Robinson yard, and I think it ran a place. But she's drawn 1, Love is Rose. The last run, although she did run 3rd, I think actually she ran a little bit below her form. I think she's a bit better than that, but she did drift in the betting market. But she's got the bonus of Richard Free and a 1 draw. That's number 9, Love is Rose. But for me, the race doesn't stop there. I think number 4, Heir of Royalty, is a runner here. She is stepping up to the mile. She's a daughter of Elusive Fort, so she will certainly relish that. Paddy Creer has always been a great horseman, great horse conditioning. He had a winner on Tuesday at that meeting, which I quite liked. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was another Creer winner here. The last run was pretty useful behind Quickstep. She finished 3rd, but she was drawn 9 out of 9. So I think she is likely to improve. Devon Ashby keeps the ride, which shows some loyalty. And I think that she will be competitive, number 4, Heir of Royalty, in this race. Just a couple of others, because I said it's a moderate field and fairly open. Number 1, Sonora Victoria. Alf Duncan's filly that he bred is owned by Carruthers Morea and Glenn Puller himself and Denarbrica. That too was poorly drawn. In the race where Heir of Royalty ran third, was drawn 9 out of 9. Signora Victoria was just behind, also wasn't well drawn. She was drawn 8 out of 9, so she too could improve. I don't think wherever Heir of Royalty is, Signora Victoria isn't going to be too far behind. Are there any roughies in the race? Just a quick one with the equipment change there at the bottom. Number 10, Lucy, the pink, now has blinkers fitted. She's drawn 2, so that's in her benefit. Number 6, Bella Mo, ran in the Fillies Nursery, the Cape Fillies Nursery. This is number 6. But here, and then she ran again in that juvenile company where Spy Wing won. I'd give her a bit of a sneak, actually, but she's drawn 11. She's got a shocking draw to overcome as number 6, Bella Mo, which is not going to be in her favor. But it is a race where you can't completely rule out a upset. Don't like that last race at all. So to sum up, Ghost Rider likes 2 and 9, and I like 4, Heir of Royalty. 4 and 1 probably for me in that race. But a trappy little race. I see there's money for, what's this, Paris Cherry? Sure. Well, she hasn't done anything yet, but if she is going to improve, this is the kind of race that she could improve. The same with number 7, Beneath the Moon. Yeah, not a nice race, this one. If you are going to take exotics and pick sixes, try and run to as many horses in this last race. Okay, that pretty much sums up my take race by race. Most races, I am in agreement with the Ghost Rider. You've heard his selections. There's just the one race where we're completely off with each other. He didn't mention Sergey, and he didn't mention World's Your Oyster, which are my 2 roughies in the race, although we do have double charge in common there. Right, so the big key news there is the Lungerman has been thrown a curveball because 2 of the main fancied runners are out there. Charles Dickens would have been a very popular choice. He's not running, and neither is the other horse, the Port's horse, We're Jamming, who was recently bought by them by when that won the Colts Nursery. So that shapes up to be an interesting race. The other bits of information today, we've got a best bet coming up, a price booster. I'll find one of those for you. That will come up on a separate video. And just a reminder to follow us on Twitter, because you will see a lot of our content goes out on Twitter and social medias, on Instagram, etc. 1 or 2 punters say, oh, well, we're having, at times we battle to get access to it. It's all over our social platforms, not just on YouTube, but also on our web page. So the sooner you get up and running with the Clock in the Gallop web page and with all of our socials, the better, because you'll get the price booster information. You'll also get the Take a Bet with Tab initiative, Take a Bet with Tab online with 240. So with the full racing, that is. So make sure that you get all your information. Just before I go, because Nico will want me to share this, let me share the July special. Okay, so I'm going to share the special that we've got running. It's a massive one, of course. It is the Hollywood Bets Durban July next weekend. There's a lot going on. We are going to use all of our brain power put together with the likes of the Ringer, who, of course, talks to us on the channel next week. Doesn't get any bigger than the Hollywood Bets Durban July. You want to be in prime position to make use of the information that we have, and we'll pass on for the pick 6 carryover on the day and the quartet carryover on the main race. So Nico's asked me to remind you, it is Clocking the Gallop Extra, creating a buzz. Since we launched, of course, 2 years ago, we're well past 1.4 million views. And the reason for that, and the reason why people keep watching, is because we do find the value, and we'll do our best. I'm going to tell you something now, but I'm not going to tell you the horse. You can watch a bit later on. And Nico doesn't even know this, but Nico phoned me last week. He said, I've found the winner of the July. And he told me what it was. And I said, okay, good luck. But funnily enough, when the computer form came out this week and I started to study, I've actually wound up with the same horse from a value perspective. So I haven't spoken to him about it, but he might end up being on the same horse. It's not the same horse I've been on and been punting for 3 months. There's another one. So anyway, slightly off the point, but the bottom line is it's Hollywood Bets Durban July. We love it. Pools are massive. there's the story. You've been able to read it. The gist of it is you pay your $250 and you get all of those race meetings. Nina will be in action, of course, with the PE meeting, which is the Fairview Friday, the 1st of July. Then we've got the Hollywood Bet Sturban July meeting on the Saturday, Turfentine. So we'll be using the likes of Lyle and Nico for that. And then I see I've got the Kenilworth race meeting on Monday, the 4th of July, where we send out those extra special tips. And these are slightly different to our normal programming in so much as we write them down. We've got them. We give actually bipod numbers, PA numbers, or whatever we decide on the day. So that pot of honey might be awaiting all of us for Hollywood Bet Sturban July Day. Deposit the fee. I'm just reading the slide. Deposit the fee into the Clock of the Gallop bank account. And Nico's put the details on there for you. And away you go. The important thing is, if you haven't done it before, if you've done it before, you know how it works. If you haven't done it before, for heaven's sake, let Nico know on clockingthegallop@gmail.com or on that cell number, because otherwise he runs around on the morning of the race trying to get you the information, trying to send you the sheet, and we don't know who you are. You've paid 250 Rand and we can't get you the information. So make sure that that is sorted out. Okay, that's my story for today. Some nice racing. I don't think there's any massive spooks there. So I've got to find some value for you on the car, but I think I might have. That'll be up later on the Price Booster video. From Neil and the team, have a good day's racing. Stay warm. I don't know what Cape Town's like, but it's blinking freezing here in Johannesburg.